Hello, everyone. As usual, please, could you let me know in the chat if you can hear me and if you can see me and if we are good to go? It will be in our last session at this course. And maybe just to recap, so this course started mid of the May, if I remember it correctly. So we just learned I'd say the basic services which AWS provides us to create in our application. It was about the RDS, about the compute instances, about the storage as a service. Especially we touched Lambda as well, which is serverless service from the AWS, as well as the DynamoDB. And I think with all of this knowledge, as you already have the decent amount of idea of what AWS is and what can it provide to us. Sure, it's just the peak of the iceberg because working on the production project, let's say, uh, maybe sometime you would touch some more cutting edge services. So which may rely on AI and something like this. Actually, I can't imagine what else. But some of the companies actually have enough money to run even CI/CD routine on the AWS. So you don't need to install some Jenkins, for example, or use GitHub Actions or GitLab CI. So, and looks like we are already 6. And since I didn't see any messages in the chat saying you can hear me or you can see me, I think that everything is okay and we are good to go. Okay, so as usual, let's take a look at the slides. It's in our 10th module, which is named Backend for Frontend, and this is the topics we would touch today. So first of all, we would talk about what is BFF is, what it stands for, and why and how can we use it, and why should we use it sometimes. Next, we would take a glance at the task itself. And then we would talk about the cleanup because right now we've created plenty of the resources. And at the end, we should somehow get rid of all of them because once in our account will leave the free tier account, it would be in a year since you registered it. Uh, you would start to pay for all of these resources if you would not remove all of them. And then we'll have a quick Q&A session if you have any questions left. Okay, so first of all, the idea behind the BFF or backend for frontend. Right now in our application consists of the frontend part, which we've created the first, second, or maybe third lesson when we deployed on our frontend with the S3 bucket and then attached the CloudFront resource to make in our web page accessible from all of the edge locations available at the AWS to reduce the latency. And yeah, actually, I think it's only about the latency. But yeah. And then they created a bunch of functionality for our application, which has made it available to create the products, to get the products, to create the cart if you actually succeed with the Nest application, because I'm not, unfortunately. And right now we have a working application. But let's imagine what your front end would not end only as a web page. Let's imagine that your customer would say, okay, now let's go and create the application for the mobile phones. And in order to do this, you would have an option to create another application, um, the same like this one, and host it somewhere, for example, in AWS or any on-premise infrastructure. But in such cases, we can use the backend for front-end approach. And actually, it just helps to stick in our front end to the backend in the most of the convenient ways. So now we just have to create the front end part of our mobile application and point it right to our BFF service. And in this case, BFF service would take all of the necessary logic to make our application work. So actually, this is what this module is about. Module and this task itself. So now I think we could take a look at the task itself. Bear with me for a second, and let me share my screen like this. Okay, here we go. So task number 10, in which we should create actually the web service. You can make it in any language you want, which one you know, which is more convenient for you. I'm not sure about the TypeScript, but in case of Python, you can use Flask or maybe Fast API, or if you are familiar with Django, go ahead. This is also such a good choice. And this web service would be responsible to take the requests from the front-end part of application. And in our case, it's just in our front-end, which we deployed at the S3. And transform this request to the appropriate form to make it understandable for our backend part. I hope I explained it well. So if you can see once again at this picture, so BFF service would take requests from our clients, from our customers, and then it would try to convert it and provide it to the, in this case, to the cart service or to our gateway, API gateway, which is responsible to get products or create products. In this case, we are not touching the import files part, but actually in the production, and if you have your own idea of infrastructure of the e-commerce shop, it's up to you. So first of all, we should create this BFF service alongside with the product service, import service, and if I remember it correctly, there should be authorization service as well. And in this folder would be in our application, which would listen for all of the requests. And then it would redirect all of these requests to the appropriate services. So yeah, as it explained in the task. And the format of this request should be like this. So BFF service URL. There is an examples like it's localhost 3000, but it may be as well the URL which is provided from the Elastic Beanstalk, or if you would attach the API gateway before to get rid of the error with the SSL certificate, it's actually up to you. So this is just the URL. And our front end would try to reach to get all the necessary data or to put all the necessary data. Recipient service name should be like card service or product service. So there is only two of them. And you should create the .env file, which would consist of this recipient service name and the URL to which one the requests should be redirected. And at the end of this link, there is some query, which the backend part of our application would be responsible to work with. So, for example, it may be the product which we should get or put, for example. So whatever. So everything in our backend part of our application should do. Actually, all of this is explained in the task itself. This one I think is pretty clear as well. And then we should just deploy in our application with Elastic Beanstalk. Actually, it's the same approach as we used at the task number 9 should be used. So you should just wrap your application inside the Docker container and then deploy it with the Elastic Beanstalk. Then you should just commit and create the pull request to the master. It would be enough to take the 80 points. And the 20 points, what is left, is regarding the cache. So to get this 20 points, you should make the caching functionality inside of your application. It's not the function. Wait a second. Yeah, to the request of a Lambda function. So your BFF service would be responsible to cache the data which is took from the Lambda function. So if the data it is retrieved from the Lambda function is less than 2 minutes old, this data is valid. But otherwise, you should go ahead. You should make your application to go to the Lambda function, to trigger the Lambda function, and then take all of the updated data. I think that's it about the penalties. If you're familiar with the TypeScript, so yeah, if you're using the Express, I think it's kind of library or tool for the TypeScript, so you would be fine with the 50 points. I think that's it. So actually, it's there's nothing new about the AWS. It's rather about the your skills to your understanding of the web applications and your skills to create the web application by yourself. So I think now we are good to go to the cleanup part. If you don't have a questions, but if you have any, feel free to ask them in the chat. Or as usual, you can use the Discord chat. So your fellow students would help, or I am, if I have enough knowledge about this one. So about the cleanup. Okay, there is a question. How many free EC2 instances are included in free tier? Will we be able to run card service and BFF service? Actually, there is no restrictions about the amount of instances, but there is a restriction about the compute time which is consumed by these instances. So if you are running just one EC2 instance, you can run it 750 hours, if I remember it correctly, per month. But if you are creating 2 instances, so you would be possible to run both of them only for 350 hours in a month in case of 2. So in case of 3, you can just divide the 750 on 3, on 4, or as many instances as you have. So about the cleanup. So as I said, unfortunately, I already removed all of my resources, but still, first of all, I think once you are done and once all of your job is, all of your pull requests is checked by the students on the cross-check, you are free to remove all of the resources we've just created during this course. So first of all, I would suggest you to start with the CDK deployments. You should go to all of the folders you have used and just run cdk destroy. It would be enough to remove the services and the um, CDK configuration from your S3 buckets. But you're still responsible to remove all of the created logs from the CloudWatch. So once you are done with the CDK destroy and you removed the product service, input service, authorization service, the front end part, as well as the card service and BFF, you should go to the CloudWatch. Where is it? What am I doing wrong? Okay, let's make it like this. Yeah, CloudWatch. You should go to the CloudWatch, and in case you still have, go to the log groups, and in case you have something in here, you are responsible to remove all of it, because once your account would leave the free tier and would become not free tier reliable, you would be charged for all of the logs which is stored inside of your AWS account. Next, I suggest you to go to the S3 and take a look if you still have any buckets. And if you have, sure, first of all, make them empty. So delete everything inside of this bucket. So there would be the button. So first of all, clear the bucket, and then you may delete it. And next, let me think. Also, it's not a good idea. It's not a bad idea to go to the CloudFormation and take a look if you still have any stacks inside it. Because for some reason, I don't know why, but still, you may have something inside of this. If I remember correctly, you would not be charged for this one, but just to make your account clear, as it may be clear. So please remove all you may found in the CloudFormation. API gateway should be removed. All the lambdas should be removed as well with the CDK destroy. Also take a look at the EC2 instances because for some reason, I don't know why, but still, you may have something inside of this. Also take a look at inside the DynamoDB because if I remember it correctly, we had to create the DynamoDB tables by hand. Yeah, exactly. So this is what I have in here now. So I would just go ahead and delete the table. So I need to say confirm, create and demand backup. No, I don't need it. Delete all alarms for the products. Yes. This one is deleting. And I would do the same with this one. So just say confirm. And I'm done. So okay, so once they're removed, it's okay. Take a look at the SQS and SNS. Ever since we've created this CDK, if something is... thank you so much. Yeah, once again. So what I just done, I just been looking for the resources. Thank you so much, unknown channel, for the notice. For you noticed what I did show nothing. So yeah, what I just done, I just found out that I at the task number 4 or 5, I don't remember actually, but they've been needed to create the DynamoDB tables, and we've been creating them by hands, so not by CDK deploy. And this is why I go into the DynamoDB, to the tables, and then just removed all the tables that I had. So, and I also suggest you to go to the SQS, SNS, or any services we've been created by the CDK, and make sure that you got rid of all of them. And maybe it's Okay, with RDS, you would be provided with the IP address, but not the elastic IP address. I think that's it. So maybe let's take a look for what I'm still getting charged. So compute instances, VPC. So in case you are getting the public IP address, you would be charged for um, this service, VPC. So it just means that you've been provided with the public IP address to make your resource available from your from the internet, let's say. I think that's it. So, and for July, for me it was others. Not sure what others is, but I think the RDS took so much at the last month. S3 bucket. Remove this one. Yes, yes, taxes. Yeah. And once you removed, okay, so once your job is checked, and once you removed all of the resources, actually that's it. So you are done with this course. Unfortunately, I'm not sure what would you get at the end of this course, but I hope it would be some kind of certificate and some kind of knowledges and opportunities maybe for the future. Um, but one thing I want to mention. So actually, this is it from the perspective of an hour course. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. If there is nothing, so yeah, always if you would have any, feel free to ask them in the chat, in the Discord chat. But I want to mention one more thing. So soon, pretty soon, I think next or maybe the week after the next one, the RS School would launch the DevOps course, AWS DevOps course. And in this course, if you are really into the AWS, so you may try your skill and knowledges to participate in this course. And in this course, we would talk about the DevOps stuff. First of all, it would be the CI/CD. We would talk about the Jenkins and how to deploy Jenkins. We would talk about the Kubernetes. We would, if I remember it correctly, this course is already done, but I'm just ran through it and didn't have enough time to read it from the start to finish. So we would deploy the Jenkins inside the Kubernetes cluster. We would deploy the Kubernetes cluster itself. We would talk about the monitoring. So we would talk about the Grafana and Prometheus to collect the metrics from your application. And as well, we would touch the Terraform topic. So all of this, not all of these resources, but some of them would be deployed with the Terraform. So it may be quite interesting for you if you are into the DevOps DevOps sphere, let's say. Okay, so since we have done with the cleanup and since I've made the announcement about the upcoming course, I think we are done. So not to miss this course, we may connect at the LinkedIn. So there's a QR code. You can find me in the LinkedIn by this QR code. Let's stay connected and don't miss the announcement about this course, because this week we would finally talk about the running date. We would talk about the how to promote it and so on. So in the upcoming weekends, it should start. And I think that's it from my end. Any questions? Like this. Okay, so actually, I really appreciate your diligence and commitment to this course. It was the first course which I provided. Hope it ended well, but yeah, there's always something to do it better. And even for this course, I already have plenty of suggestions from all of you to make it better. So we would work on it. We would not abandon it. And yeah, I hope for upcoming students, it would be a bit easier, especially with the task number 8, because yeah, it was such a pain. Still remember all the sleepless nights with this TypeScript, because I'm absolutely not familiar with this one. Yeah, but still, it was quite interesting journey, I would say. So thank you once again. Really appreciate your opinions and involvement in this course, and hope to see you soon. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. You can always find me here, tag me, or even send me the direct message. So see you soon, and bye.